Welcome to the MFS Wellness Podcast, a hybrid structure encompassing health, fitness, self-improvement, and entertainment, where no topic is off limits and all opinions are graciously welcomed.
Let's get on with the show!
And now, here's the host of the show, Mike Sinopoli.
Welcome to the MFS Wellness Podcast. I am Mike Sinopoli, certified nutrition coach, consultant, counselor, call me whatever you would like. On this episode, I am addressing the ever so frustrating scale obsession that people have when they look to take on a fat loss goal, and why it will mess with your head, why it's a losing mentality, why it's a toxic mentality, and why it can hinder your relationship with fitness, your body, and food as well. The problem here, and it's been beaten to death, is, the scale dictates people's thoughts on their progress. That's just what people are wired to think, whether it's something that they've just grown up thinking, looking at, that they've been told by fitness culture, diet culture, the scale, the weights. People come up to me and just randomly throw out numbers like, hey, I just need to lose 20 pounds. Okay, where did you get that number? Why do you need to lose 20 pounds? Where did you get the number from? What is that? Like, do you know what 20 pounds looks like on and off of you, or what are you using? So the problem starts there. It's that they just come up with a number that they'd like to hit, and I don't think there's a lot of thought put into that number. And what happens is that we get hell-bent on reaching that number, and we want to get to that number as fast as we can. So issue with this is that the scale, A, does not move linear. It will not move linear. You will not lose every week. You don't want to lose more than 2 pounds a week. Technically, you want to preserve your muscle mass. I've talked about this before. You don't want to lose weight. You want to lose fat. The last thing you want to do is start deteriorating valuable muscle tissue in order to hit a number on a machine that cost you $20 at Walmart. Think about that. You're going to deplete yourself of muscle because you want to see the number 120 on that scale. And that is nonsense. It means nothing. It really doesn't. It's just a number you threw out there. And to sacrifice your body composition to hit a number on a scale is completely off kilter. It's just nonsensical, and we need to stop. It's a hard habit to break. Even me, who's preaching this right now, I even think about the scale too. Oh, why am I not under 190 pounds right now is what I'll say, because I'm in a cut, or I'm in a deficit. I should be in the 180s, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I've seen it before. You wake up, you feel good, you like what you see in the mirror, you look good, your pants are fitting, you feel good, you're energized, and then you get on the scale and you gained a pound. And then it just deflates everything. And that really sucks, because what you really want is to look good, feel good, have energy, fit into your clothes, be shaped, and be strong. And the scale doesn't dictate that. It just dictates what it's weighing. Like I said before, it's a machine you bought on Amazon, at Walmart, at Target. It's a machine. It doesn't even know what it's weighing. It's weighing you. It's weighing you. You are made up of more than just fat. You're made up of bones. You're made up of water. You're made up of blood. You're made up of organs, muscle. All kinds of stuff plays roles in it. Women, They get thwarted through their diet process because water retention happens a lot of times during their time of the month. And that is easily a time when they would want to quit and get frustrated. And water retention isn't just specific to women and when they're on their period, but it's also with men and women as well when just random things come up. Stress, poor sleep, added sodium to the diet, higher calorie days. If you weigh yourself in the morning on a Friday, you're going to weigh whatever. And then you weigh yourself at night after you've had pizza, or the day after for that matter, and you're going to weigh significantly more. Your body's retaining a lot of water from high sodium. The food is still in you. You haven't crapped it out yet. That's why I usually tell clients, if you're going to weigh on the scale, weigh in once a week, weigh in on the same scale with no clothes on after you've voided all your bowels, you've pissed, you've shit, before you take a shower so the water doesn't come in. That's your truest weight. And then the problem will happen is that you have a really bad relationship with the scale when you find yourself scale hopping everywhere and weighing yourself multiple times a day on different scales. I've seen people weigh themselves in the morning and then go ahead and go to the gym and weigh themselves on the gym scale, and it reads totally different. They're weighing with their clothes on. They're weighing after they've eaten. They're weighing on a different scale. And they're, why is this one 3 pounds heavier? Because it's the time of day. Your shoes are still on, and you've had like 5 meals already. So that's why you weigh more right now. And you're not gaining fat. That's the thing. Fat doesn't come off that quickly. It doesn't come on that quickly either. So large fluctuations overnight in the scale are water. That's it. And, and again, like anything else, it's about sustainability and consistency of what you're doing. So my favorite thing to do is find like multiple facets of progress. And this is what I really strongly suggest to anyone. Like, don't put all of your focus on what the scale reads. It's hard to do. It's hard to break. Take a break from the scale if you have to. I don't agree with throwing away the scale because I think that it's still a good tool to measure some sort of progress. I believe it's relevant. But I think you should have a pair of goal pants. I think that's a great thing to do, or a shirt or something you want to fit in. And you know that in that case, you've gone ahead and hit yourself a good goal to fit in those pants. That's really ideal. That's really saying a lot. My favorite personally is progress photos once a month. Once a week can be kind of subtle and maybe not as motivating as seeing something from 30 days. That's when you really start to see your progress when you begin is around the 30-day mark typically. And you want healthy progress. You want to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. It's so distorted because if you took two people and you put them on one person on an extreme diet and the other one on a moderate, sustainable, long lifestyle type diet, and you see their results and you see the one that's on the extreme diet is losing 3 to 4 pounds a week, the other one's losing 1 pound a week, you're going to go ahead and say, well, I want to do that diet because they're losing faster. But what you don't know is that person is on a miserable, restrictive, unsustainable form of eating and training. They're completely unhappy. They're waiting for it to end. They're deteriorating their muscle mass, which is slowing their metabolism in the long run. And they're going to end up with a higher body fat to skeletal muscle mass percentage than they have when they started. The person going slow and steady and dealing with the ups and the downs and the slow progress is going to be more successful in the long run, provided they can keep that up. It's all about what you can keep up. So that's a great way to go. Progress photos. Wherever else you can see, just people, the mirror, start complimenting you. You start seeing muscle definition, things like that. Make strength training a priority. It's so undervalued when it comes to fat loss. High protein and strength training. It's to you that may scream muscle gain and bulkiness and bodybuilding and women on ESPN with jacked muscles everywhere and just exploding. And you will not turn into that overnight. You will not turn into that probably ever in your life. That is a completely different animal. So the whole lifting weights creates a bulkiness is so slow, methodical that you're not going to hit it. You're going to know before you do. So keep that in mind. And keep that in mind that even gaining some weight is not a bad thing if it's muscle mass primarily. There's something called bulking and cutting or surplus and deficit that you may have heard before. And the thought of going into a calorie surplus intentionally, which is about 200 to 500 calories usually over your caloric maintenance, may sound crazy to you, but that is something that you may want to start exploring because you can sustain it longer. You're going to build muscle. You're going to build your metabolism. Then you can go on to a cut and start losing the fat. And then you reveal the body you've been building underneath that. And through that, you can eat a lot of good food. You can feel satisfied, and it's much more sustainable. That might be a way to start even. I like to do that when I feel lean. I would prefer to lean out first, then go into the surplus. But everybody's a little different. And if you're not sticking with your calorie deficit very much to start or the diet you're on, you might want to try that route. And where you can actually regulate your food a little bit and just eat a little more, lift some weights, be content with your body as it is and accept it and start strength training and lifting. You're going to build so many habits and you're going to start feeling so much better. You might inherently start eating better as well. And then when the time comes, you're feeling like you've gotten stronger, you're feeling good, you got acclimated to going to a gym and working out and really building that strength and that muscle mass. Then it's time to go on a cut. And then you can go on and do that however you'd like, as aggressive or non-aggressive as you want. And then that's what's going to show your results. And you kind of repeat that process back and forth. I like to be in a calorie surplus for about 75% of the year if I can, which means I'm spending about 3/4 of the year building muscle, and the rest of it is sporadically in mini cuts or deficits to lose fat. Just depends on how strict I want to be. So with the scale, that's not going to show any of this muscle building and any of these other habits you're forming. It's so irrelevant to the main thing, the main focus, that to give it that much credit, we give it way too much credit, the scale. So just go on it, look at it, say, oh, that's the number today. Big deal. It's about as useless as the calorie count on a machine, on a cardio machine. Maybe not that useless. That's pretty useless. The scale at least will show you some sort of result. That thing is way off and doesn't matter. But when you get on the scale, make peace with it. Don't let it ruin your day. That's the first thing you can do. Because when you get on the scale in the morning and you see that you went up half a pound after dieting for a little bit, and you don't know why, and you know you're on point, could be water weight, could be anything, could be maybe you aren't in that much of a deficit and you built some sort of muscle over some time. Who knows? But that's very minuscule. And then what that can do is set the tone for the day, and that will just discourage you, and you will just sort of go into this pit of, fuck it. And then you just start eating, and then you feel like crap, and then 2 or 3 weeks go by, you've negated any progress you've made, and now you're back in the same situation. So keep that in mind, and don't let the scale run you. You run the scale. You go on it when you want to go on it, when you feel like it's right. Other than that, I would look at way different forms of progress, like I'd mentioned before. So that's a lot with the scale right there. That's really all it is. It's a short episode here, but it's also very important. Some other ways to go about getting off that scale is really just your own mindset. It really is. There's no trick. So I'd love to give you a bunch of information of what to do, but you really just can't take the scale that serious anymore. You have to laugh at the scale a little bit. And that means not getting as excited when you lose a bunch of weight either. You know, it goes both ways. You don't want to just get pissed off because the scale went up a pound. But like at the same time, when it drops 4 pounds in a week, don't get excited. That's not good. It's not good. Obviously, that depends on your size, but it could be fine. But like, you know, if you're someone who wants to lose 20, 25 pounds, to drop a quarter of that over a week isn't very good. It's not healthy weight loss because you've likely burnt up some muscle mass, or there's water going with it. It's not as exciting as you think. And you probably don't look that much differently when you see that loss anyways. So go by how you look, go by how you feel. Let the machines be secondary for everything else. So if you want to discuss this topic any further or ask me a question, I'm on social media. The handle is @MFS Wellness. It's either on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can just drop me an email, mike@mfswellness.com. I'm always happy to talk. I can sit around and discuss this ad nauseum with you and just keep going. I believe fitness, health, and wellness, all of this is just so important in life, and we've really lost sight of it as a society. So when people come to me, I salivate at the mouth to discuss it and try to help. That's where I want to be. So never hesitate to contact me. And until we do another episode, we will see you then.